Hello and welcome into another episode of Reality Check here on the channel. I am Matt O'Leary. I am joined as always by Jeremy, aka Jets Chaos. Jeremy, how goes it, my friend?
It is feeling really good for me right now. My basketball team ended a life of heartache and frustration, and I'm still walking in the clouds. But it also inspires me for the Jets because, as we will talk about today, I see something different. And that's what, since we've done nothing but lose for 15 years, I think different has to be a good thing.
Oh, it absolutely does. And look, like I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but I watched the Knicks run and kind of just got in on the hype. And it was a great run ending in a championship. Extremely happy for all the diehard Knicks fans. But how could you not take away hope from that? Like for me, I'm a Jets, Islanders, and Mets fan. Those are three teams that haven't won in a really long time. And my takeaway was, oh my God, if the Knicks can win, maybe there's hope for one of my other crappy teams that I root for.
Absolutely. For me, it was just another box. It was like I got the Rangers, yes, the Mets, yes, and I had two teams, the Knicks and the Jets, nothing, not really in my, the Jets, I wasn't alive. The Knicks, I have no memory of it because I was 2 years old. So the Knicks checked the box. The only box left for me to check is the Jets. And it's amazing how, you compare us to fans of other fan bases like Kansas City, New England. They want their 7th Super Bowl, their 8th Super Bowl. I just want one.
Yeah.
I just want one.
Not asking a lot.
Just give me one. I'm sure I'll want more if we get the one. But for right now, I'm asking for one.
100%. Really, again, that would be fantastic for Jets fans if they're the next one to do it. Did want to mention, especially because Jeremy is coming to this, but tickets on sale for the Talking Jets group outing week 2, Jets Packers. You can get your tickets on talkingjets.com. They are on sale right now. They're going for $250, and you get your seat, you get your tailgate to the Tailgate Joe tailgate, and we're going on the field after the game. Tickets right now on the secondary market are going for like $213, $220 in our same section. So for just a little bit more, you get the tailgate included, you get going on the field included, and parking discount code, which that's going to go a long way as well, because I think it's like $100 if you don't have the discount to pay for parking, which is just absurd. But are you excited to make the trip in for another year of Talking Jets group outing?
I am super excited. You forgot the last part that's included. Good time. Good time is included. And you might say to yourself, well, how can you guarantee that I'm going to have a good time? Well, we can't guarantee the game as far as them winning or anything like that. But the reason I can guarantee a good experience for the whole time and that you're going to have a good time is one key factor of why I guarantee it will be a good time. And that factor is green bean.
Yes. Green bean will be there. It's always the tailgate is always super fun. We hang out for 4 hours beforehand and go in and get to talk to so many people. And like someone will come up and be like, oh, my name is whatever on YouTube. It's like, oh my God, I've talked to you forever, and now like I get to meet you in person. It's that part is really cool, even if the results on the field haven't been there for us yet. But
yeah, we had viewers last year from Northern England. A couple from Northern England that actually planned their USA vacation / trip, sightseeing trip, and coordinated it with being there with us. And I remember they wanted to take a picture. They asked Matt, Greenbean, like everyone was getting together to take a picture. They wanted to take a picture with their favorite YouTube content providers. And I'm walking towards there, and Matt says, "Not you, Chaos." And then they said, No, yes, Jets Chaos. Yes, we watch them all the time in the Green Bean Reaction Show. And I looked at you, Matt, and I was like, not me, Chaos.
Well, I got to give you a hard time. Come on. That wouldn't be our relationship if I wasn't giving you a little dig right there.
We got to bust each other's chops nonstop. Like me screaming, if you get lost, just look up for O'Leary.
I'm easy to spot in a crowd. That's something good that I got going for me. Jeremy, I did want to start this show and talk about the Joe Tippmann extension, 4 years, $62 million contract extension. just first your thoughts on the move in general, and kind of why it may point to times of changing a little bit for these New York Jets.
How many times do we say we should extend this player? It's time to extend the player. Nothing happens. It goes another year. Then you have contract issues. Should we franchise him? And now it's costing more money. And but he's not worth franchising. But then the free agency hits, and suddenly you read that they're signing some deal for $22 million, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. And then we lose our player, and we never have an explanation of why, and we don't understand why. And here's this player that I happen to really like, and I think he's really, really solid. He's versatile, gives you a lot. I think he's going to only get better as a guard. I hope that we keep him at guard because that's where I think he belongs. But to actually have a GM and to actually be the fan of an organization, we haven't won yet. But so that's out of our control right now, right? But at least the other part of it, it's just, and I said it to you off air, it just feels professional.
It does. No, it 100% does. And like going into this offseason after the draft, my thought was, okay, now what I would like to see is the Jets to figure out what they're doing with Breece Hall and then reward a guy like Joe Tippmann, who has been a really good player through his first 3 years. Maybe he hasn't hit that ultimate ceiling yet, but he's still an above average starter on the offensive line at both center and guard. I thought a valuable piece to this team. They go out and they do a contract extension with Breece Hall, and then they go out a few weeks later and do the Joe Tippmann extension. And, this isn't something that dragged on into training camp and you had either Breece or Joe Tippmann holding out for a contract. All the rookies are signed. That we're not talking about offset language and why the number 2 overall pick is missing the first 3 days of training camp because he doesn't have a contract done. None of that nonsense is going to really impact the Jets this year. And it's a little thing, but hopefully it results into, the wins, because that's obviously most important. But it does feel like there's adults in the room and they're kind of getting rid of the outside noise and nonsense that there usually is in the offseason.
Yeah, there's used to be so much nonsense. And then you got to talk about just the extending the correct players. Like Joe Tippmann was the correct player to extend. I feel like if he has he may step up and have a really big year at guard. And if we didn't extend him, then suddenly you're looking at a $20 to $25 million a year contract. So I think we're being really smart, because if he stays where he is, he's worth what we're paying him. If he excels and gets better, we got ourselves a bargain, right? We got him. I think when you compare it to some of the other contracts in the league, I think we got a hell of a deal in Joe Tippmann. And I think it's more than the individual when it comes to the offensive line. You have to look at the whole is bigger than its parts. We just secured continuity for 3/5 of our offensive line, probably for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, when you include, Olu and Armand Membu in that. And I think you'll feel even better about it when you see what the cap hits are for each one of these years. So 2026 is still on his rookie contract, but 3.8 million this year, 14.1, 15.6. The highest it gets is 17.6. And in 2030, 15.6 million. By the time you're getting to 2029 at 17.6 million, like what, 3 years from now? Like, what is that going to be? Like the 20th highest paid guard, probably?
Yeah. I mean, and I think he's exceptional for what we're trying to do. Like, I think he's a great run blocking guard. And it's not that he's bad at pass blocking. I'm just saying specifically, I me on Twitter, if you check my X account from last year, remember the one, my big viral post was a post of Tippmann just running someone over. I think he's really, really good for what we want to do. I think that him and Membu together on that right side of the offensive line is something that we are going to enjoy for a really long time.
Yeah, I'm definitely really excited about it. I think, him next to Membu is awesome. But then when you include, Olu, who's going into year 3 and would have, 2 more additional years on top of that with his rookie contract, assuming they pick up the 5th-year option, it feels like they finally have building blocks on the offensive line. And the offensive line just in general for the last 10 years has kind of just been patchwork for a lot of it. And they've had, good moments, I think, with the offensive line in the past 10 years. But ever since, Nick Mangold and DeBrickashaw Ferguson retire, it's kind of been this rotating cast of characters and trying to pin something together. And it feels like they finally are starting to do that now.
Yeah. And I think that, I never worry, even though it's been a while. We've been dragging our feet with it for a while for a position I keep saying is easy to fill. I keep saying you don't have to use a first round pick on a center. Typically you get the best center in the draft, except for like exceptional guys like Lindemann. But typically you're going to get the best center at like the second round, right? And then sometimes and there are really good guys you could believe in to be solid starting centers in the third round. Sometimes even on day 3 in the 4th round, there are guys we like that are still on the board. Like this year, Connor Lew was still on the board after pick 100. Like he didn't go in the top 100, and I think he's going to be a perfectly good center in the league. I just think we have to, eventually we're going to have to figure out a permanent solution at left guard. And that's where you might have to invest some capital. It doesn't mean you have to invest a first-round pick, though. I think we eventually have to get to a point. I'm hoping the next step in having Muj as our GM that we get to enjoy is being able to fill certain spots without the high price tag. Like you should be able to find a guard, at least one of the two, or so, you need to be able to find out of the 5 offensive linemen, some that are not first-round picks. It can't be that the solution has to be first-round picks for all 5.
Right, and maybe that's what Inez Cooper ends up being. There's someone they took on late day 3 in the 6th round, and supposedly at minicamp taking some reps at center, so maybe some versatility there. I don't know if he works into lineup this year, but definitely someone who started a ton of games at Miami, and I think fits schematically with what the Jets are trying to do. Big athletic guy who can move in space and perform in the run game.
I like the prospect. I think it's, I'm not going to overestimate it. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, we found our starter, right? But I think we took this was a much better dart throw than last year, right? When like last year, the defensive lineman that we took, like Barron or whatever, I think that this showed what now they have their own scouting team fully in place. I think this was a much more organized offseason where they had more time. And I think it showed with certain picks because I really like that pick a lot. Like I really believe if you told me what day 3 guy do you believe a lot in, that wasn't. I love the 4th round picks, but like 5th round, 6th round pick, I really like this kid, and I think that there's a possibility that he's going to be our permanent left guard someday. You're right, not this year, but eventually. And then what Dom C likes to point out, I give him a hard time for it. Even if he's just a swing guard, and that's his role, and he stays on the team for 4 or 5 years, it was a great pick.
No, exactly. If he comes in and has to start, 3 to 5 games a year because someone gets hurt at either left guard, right guard, or center, and he's okay, then that's more than fine value on a 6th round pick. You take that every day of the week.
Yeah.
Wanted to go to these questions back to back are kind of similar. So I'm going to pull up. Scoob says, who are you going to look at the most during training camp? And Joe Baxter says, what player are you most excited to see play with pads on? That's kind of a very similar question. So I'll toss that one to you first. Is there someone that you're eyeing that you want to see what they look like once the pads go on in training camp?
Oh, a bunch. I love it. I mean, I get so excited about this time of year to see these guys, and I'm always the most interested in rookies. So obviously the top 5 picks like are all guys. I mean, Bailey, obviously we want to see what he looks like. I can't preseason all that. I'm really excited about Pons, obviously Sadiq and Cooper on the offense, and see like the offensive. It goes without saying that the rookies are guys you get excited about right off the bat. As far as guys that are not rookies, I'm really excited to see Membu and this season and what he's going to look like given how good he was as a rookie, and to say, wow, what could the next step mean for this kid and how special can he be? Because I thought he was pretty special as a rookie. Also, Fitzpatrick. I think we know what Demario Davis looks like as long as we're just hoping he's healthy and he plays the way he's capable of helping. But I want to see what Fitzpatrick looks like more as a Jet, meaning does he still have enough of a spark? How many big plays for us will he make? How many turnovers will he create? Like he might be the catalyst to really turning around that part of the team. And suddenly we're getting turnovers again.
Yeah, that'd be a beautiful thing. I would love to see that if Minka Fitzpatrick, hauls in like 5 picks or something this year. Sounds crazy after they had 0 last year, but he's been able to do that in the past in his career. To me, I go to honestly both sides of the trenches, the offensive and defensive lines. Not the rookies, obviously, that you mentioned, but someone who you didn't mention yet, Tavondre Sweat, right? Like that's a name that I feel like we've talked a ton about this offseason after the trade with Jermaine Johnson. And obviously, as a bigger guy, he looks so intimidating out there at this time of year when they're in their shorts and he's bigger than everybody. But when the pads go on, can he be that dominant force on the interior of your defensive line and be that true nose tackle that they didn't really have? And that kind of coincides with a quote for today from David Onyemata, another guy that I really like on this Jets defensive line. He was asked about what does he want the Jets defensive identity to be? And he said, tough and mean. So I would sign up for that in a second. Give me a tough, mean Jets defensive line. That sounds pretty nice, Jeremy.
I like mean. For offensive line, I like nasty. That's always a good word.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nasty. Oh, yeah, he's nasty. I like that.
He's got a nasty streak in him.
He's got nasty.
I think I've read that in about 25 Dom C write-ups on offensive linemen.
Yeah, he loves to say the nasty. He looks for the nasty.
Yep.
Dom C, not nasty.
No, gentle giant Dom C.
Gentle, very gentle, very gentle. Almost like you want to like Pillsbury Doughboy. You could like tap on his stomach.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. But yeah, mini camp going on.
I do want to say one thing that I skipped over, Matt, that neither of us mentioned.
Sure.
I think that even though we're not overhyping him, I think any of us would be lying if we're not curious and we're not all going to be looking like we're not all going to be very focused on the TV when Klubnik gets his chance in those preseason games. I think we're all going to be looking pretty with a high level of interest because as unlikely as it might be, as rare as it might be, the quarterback position is so precious and it's so rare and hard to find that anytime a new guy starts to take snaps for us in any situation, you look and you watch because there was always that hope and that dream. Oh my God, is this going to be the guy that shocks us and gives us that franchise quarterback?
No, that's a really good call and a good transition. We can go there next because one of the storylines out of minicamp last week, we talked about on our show, Cade Klubnik wasn't participating in OTAs because of his back. They were expecting him back for minicamp. However, this is the second day in a row in minicamp that he did not participate because of his back. He was out there on the field taking quote unquote mental reps out there on the field, which is like, I'm glad he's out there on the practice field, but I don't know how much he could really do if he's not participating. But any thoughts on Cade Klubnik and just the injury in general?
I mean, I think it's very reasonable to be concerned, not about this specific injury delaying anything for I mean, let's be realistic. The plan is for him to be a backup quarterback that doesn't play this year. Right. That's the plan anyway. If you're hoping, but I was hoping he'd be the number 2 guy. And when we have big leads or there gets a blowout, we get to see him play a little bit, see what we have. He's going to be fine from that injury. I think the reasonable concern is he was banged up and injured all of his senior year in college. Is the big excuse we're all making of why he could still be good. Well, he was hurt his senior year. Look at the year before that. Well, if he was hurt his senior year and he was playing injured and now he's having problems with his back, at some point it becomes reasonable to say, well, now I'm concerned about his injury proneness.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to flip out over it right now. It is still really early. It's mid-June. I just don't want to see this come or become an issue, right? Like the example that I'm going to get, and both guys at very different points in their career, but Aaron Rodgers, his first year, he was dealing with, I believe it was a calf during mini camp, and everyone's like, okay, like that, let's not worry about it. And then he pops his Achilles in week one. And obviously, I don't want anything drastic to happen to Cade Klubnik, but I just don't want this to be a lingering issue, because for a rookie, especially a day 3 rookie, I know there's no expectation for him to start, but it's important to get all the reps you possibly can get, at this time of year during OTAs, mini camp, and training camp, because it's a hard adjustment, especially at that position.
Yeah. I mean, but you got to balance. I mean, and you just listen to the doctors, and you be cautious. Like, you should be cautious, but not ridiculous. Like, if the doctors say he's fine, he says he's fine, give him the reps. If the doctors tell you there's still some tension, we're looking, when we scan or whatever we're looking at or feeling, however they're going to determine, if they're saying there's still enough tightness that even though maybe in the regular season he could play, this could increase the chance of injury, then you have to weigh that and say, okay, I guess we have to rest them. I'm feeling, unless he feels fine and the doctors and trainers are all thumbs up, you don't do anything. You don't take any chances of extending the injury or making it worse. I'll be happy and not as concerned as long as he's there when real camp starts in the summer. Like, as long as he comes into the summer healthy, I think we got a long month, and there'll be times for him to take snaps and play. And I really, obviously he has to be ready by then. And we want to see as many reps as we can. If he looks, I mean, I don't want to, Gino's our quarterback. We want Gino to have a great year. I really want to get a good look at Klubnik. Like, I understand why you want to see reps today. So do I. It's disappointing not to. I want him to get it all in, because I would really love for him to win the quarterback 2 job. I would love that. And I would love it if some situation that wasn't a negative or bad one led to us getting to see by the end of the season a little bit of him. So if he has a great preseason game or 2 and gets us all excited, then boy, I'm really going to want to, before next year's draft, I want to know. I want more information about him.
Yeah, no, definitely. You want to get that info, and whether that's in the preseason or in some mop-up duty or whatever, it would be nice to know that. I did want to go to Scoob's comment saying, did you see the AD Mitchell catch? So I'll pull that up. This was from yesterday. Wrong tab, excuse me. A nice toe tap in the back of the end zone. Are you buying this AD Mitchell hype? I feel like it's been really the spring and early summer of AD Mitchell.
I feel like I've been his biggest defender before any of this started. I've been saying it all off season. Like, and how many times have you heard me say, I'm not saying we shouldn't draft a quarterback in the draft, but please don't write off AD Mitchell. It's only been 2 years. Last year was kind of a wash for him. I feel like I've been defending this guy forever, and everybody's now acting so surprised. And I'm not saying that Scoob is acting surprised. I'm just saying in general, people are acting so surprised when they're hearing his name that he's playing well. And it's like, we've been telling you, Dom C has been telling you, this guy was an incredible prospect out of college. He's fast. He's super fast. He's tall. He's strong. He's super athletic. We don't know. It's hard to put into words or explain why he struggled so much his first year in Indianapolis and why some guys don't. All we know is it's not uncommon. There's many really good NFL wide receivers who have not gotten off to a great start in their career. And year 3, year 4 is when you see it start to happen and really like, wow, this is a good football player. I'm not saying 100% that he is. I'm saying that I won't be shocked if he is.
Yeah.
Because he was a great prospect. This was a number 2 pick that has all the attributes of someone who could be a very good WR2.
Yeah, and I hope that he is, right? And the thing for me, because I feel like I got some pushback, and you probably did too. I really wanted the Jets to draft a wide receiver in round 1 just for, really insurance purposes, right? Like, I wasn't comfortable going into the year and being like, okay, AD is wide receiver 2 with really no other competition for that. And my reasoning was just because we haven't seen that yet at the NFL level through 2 years. It's not to say that he's not talented. It's not to say that he can't do it. I just wouldn't feel as comfortable about the room in general if they didn't add that. Now we get
100%.
Yeah. And now we get to mini camp and OTAs, and eventually we'll get to training camp. And hopefully this run that he's had in the spring carries over to training camp in the season. If he goes out there and has a monster year as a wide receiver 2 and gives you, I don't know, 70 catches for 900 yards as the wide receiver 2, that's fantastic. That's a great problem, I'll say in air quotes, to have with your wide receiver 3 being a first round pick. And you look at all the weapons that the Jets have on offense. I think you're really setting up whoever the young quarterback is going to be going into the season, most likely next year, setting them up to be in a position of success. So I'm rooting for AD Mitchell a ton. I was never out on AD Mitchell. I just wanted to clarify that I wanted them to continue to add to that position because he hasn't yet shown that at this level.
And I'll add on to that, because I agree with you 100%. Not only was he too much of a question mark, as much as I loved his potential and thought he could be the WR2, we all were very aware, most of us, that it's certainly the jury wasn't out on it, right? We'd be gambling. We don't know, and we still don't know if he could be a legitimate WR2. I may be a little higher on him than most people on average. Because I loved him so much in college. But I think the other reason why it was so important we take a wide receiver is not just because we weren't 100% completely comfortable with AD Mitchell, and it wasn't proven. It was because the rest of the room is so weak and bad, right? Like the rest of the room has so many question marks. Like the room itself, we needed a third receiver. Like, I don't care which one, AD Mitchell and Cooper, officially, even in 2 years from now or a year from now or whenever, is the WR2. I want them all to be great. I want Garrett Wilson to be Garrett Wilson, and I want both Mitchell and Cooper to be very good wide receivers, and people could fight all they want about who's WR2, who's not WR2. I don't care. But I just want to have a room. How about having a wide receiver room with 3 really good, competent wide receivers? If somebody gets hurt, you still have 2. Right. Yep. Like, so you can handle an injury. You have the depth to handle an injury, and you could never have too many. And it just makes our overall room look better. Yep. And I like the versatility. Garrett can move into the slot. Cooper can move into the slot. I love that. And then you add on Sadiq. So now you have 2 tight ends. You have depth at tight end, and you have Sadiq who's a true slot receiver as well.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think it's really exciting when you look at the wide receiver room and the potential that they have. Going out to Indie Jets, thank you for the super chat. Says, tell Green Bean to count me in on Green Bean Island. We are starting 3-2 and going 10-7 and making the playoffs. I got my ticket for Tennessee in week 1. I'm bought in. Go Jets. Jets Indy, I love that positivity. Thank you for the comment.
Positivity is always a good thing. Green Bean Island has plenty of room. It's a great place. There's lots of coconuts and all kinds of pineapples and drinks and straws and coconuts, but no rum. We don't do rum on Green Bean Island. It's all just coconut and pineapple on its own, nice and plain.
It's a sober island.
Very delicious. It's so right. Green Bean Island is a sober island,
and that's okay. We're high on our own supply of Jets fandom. That's what it is. I love it. Thank you, Indy Jets. Enjoy the game out in Nashville. That sounds awesome too, by the way. We're going to get into more comments and some more minicamp storylines. I do want to give a shout out to the sponsor real quick. So if you allow me, we're going to go to Prize Picks, is our sponsor of the show. I got a play for the World Cup, and I'm looking great after just, getting early in this. I have Lionel Messi more than 3.5 goals. He's already at 3 for the tournament. And Mbappe to have more than 5 goals and assists, and he had 2 goals in the first game that he played. So sign up for Prize Picks using promo code HMA. You'll get $50 after your first $5 play. You can do World Cup game picks if you want. I just wanted to put out one of my tickets to be a overall World Cup tournament play. MLB regular season still going on. Soon enough, NFL regular season as well. Prize Picks is now available in New York State, and thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring the program. All right, let's get back into this. I want to pull this comment up from our friend Dana, who says, is Arian Smith solely a special teamer now in y'all's eyes? I think that's going to be his primary role. especially since they add Tim Patrick. I think he's going to be wide receiver 4. And to be honest with you, I think Isaiah Williams showed more as a receiver last year than Arian Smith did. So I think Arian Smith, best case scenario, wide receiver 6 and a special teams role. That's kind of where I'm at. Where are you?
I'm the same. I do think because of his speed, he might be in that role, but in special, like throughout the season, there might be a couple of times, like there's the potential that all of a sudden you find out, or you find out you're watching, and suddenly Geno Smith just throws the ball. You didn't even know he was in the game. It's a towering, long 45, 50-yard pass high in the air, and it comes down, and it's Arian Smith under it, wide open for a touchdown. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a moment or two. Like he's not going to be like special teamer. Probably, yeah, WR6, but there'll be design moments where they put him in to test the defense, to take out the, you know what I mean? To force them back, to force them to have to deal with him. Like because just lining him up with that speed creates an issue for the defense in that you have to have a safety back there now. You can't completely commit and stack them. If you do, then we have to throw it to him. We have to have him go deep. Like, we have to make them pay for that. Like, we have to have if Arian Smith is on that field, you must keep a safety back.
And unlike the quarterbacks from last year, they're going to have one in Geno who's not afraid to put the ball down the field, right? Like, that wasn't happening with Justin Fields or Brady Cook. Right. We saw Tyrod take a couple shots, though more so to A.D. Mitchell, but Geno's not afraid to air it out. So that's a good point to bring up as well in what his role may end up looking like on this team.
Yeah. And also, I just want to qualify. We're all basing this on a rookie year, terrible quarterback play, a team where nobody looked as good as they would normally look. And me just reminding us he's a rookie, so nobody knows 100%. Like, we don't know 100% that he could never work his way up, because even Isaiah Williams was a guy we all wanted cut after week 1, right? And did get cut and then made it back onto the team and then started doing some things that got us thinking, oh, he's better than Smith. So who says that Smith can't be, over the next 2 years, suddenly start to develop as a football player? But for right now, I wouldn't count on him to be any more than a special teamer.
Yeah, I think that's totally a fair way to look at it. Going a little bit of a different direction, still in minicamp, there was a quote from Nahshon Wright today that I wanted to pull up on just the Jets' interception drought and why he wanted to play for Aaron Glenn, which I think would be an interesting conversation to get into. It's not loaded. There we go. It hasn't been brought up at all. 2025 is 2025, so we're trying to turn over a new leaf. That was Nahshon Wright on the Jets interception drought. On why he signed with the Jets, AG called me personally. We spoke for 30 minutes. It seemed like the right situation to prove myself again. What do you make on Nahshon Wright's comments here at minicamp?
I mean, I think that they need to do that. I think that I don't want them harping too much, not only on last year, but on all the Jets past in history. I hate that when we bring things up. Oh, the Jets can't do that. Well, the Jets are terrible at developing quarterbacks. The Jets are this. No, none of that means anything to me, because the staff is new. The offensive coaching staff is new. That has nothing to do with the past. Though, it's something that we all feel it does emotionally, because it feels like we always, stink at quarterback and can never develop a quarterback. But the reality is, if you're thinking with your brain very logically, it's different people. So we don't know what we are. We don't know if we're a team that develops quarterbacks or not, because we've never done it with these coaches and this particular staff. So I like the attitude and the mentality of, forget last year. This is our team this year. This is who we are this year.
Right, because none of those guys have control over it. And as fans, like, we get it, because we've been watching for however long you've been a fan. But this is Aaron Glenn's second year. This is Nahshon Wright's first year. They don't have anything to do with the past. And I think if you start falling into this is just the Jets and bad things happen here, well, then you're kind of set up for failure. And that's what, at the end of the Robert Saleh era, I feel like they they cried the blues and it was woe is me, everything's going wrong and I can't catch a break. And I don't think that's the right attitude to, have as a head coach or a player on a team, because then, one bad loss happens and it starts to spiral after that. You gotta, be able to snap yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting quote there. What did you make of the Brendan Sorsby situation? We can talk about that. A hot button issue. We have Jets fans on both sides of the aisle. Some saying they wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Others saying that they would bid on him in the supplemental draft. So he lost his eligibility, fought it, got it back, and then entered the supplemental draft anyway. So let's steer this conversation into the Brendan Sorsby side of things. Jeremy, what do you got?
I mean, first of all, when people say like when the character thing's not a problem, he made a mistake. No. The character thing is a problem. I'm not saying that we can't put some late round bid on him, a 5th round bid, like if they did something. I'm not saying he's not like that. A team won't do that and a team shouldn't or whatever. But do not tell me it's not an issue or a concern, because he didn't just bet on the horses. This guy bet against himself. He bet against himself. Like he literally did that. That is a problem. That is a really, really dirty, dark, like low character thing to do. Like I didn't know that until the other day. I read an article. I didn't realize that it went to that extent. He bet himself on how many, I think it was how many completions he'd have in the first half or something. Like he actually made a bet against himself. That's fixing a game. That is the worst thing you could do as an athlete. It is real. You cannot just look the other way and say it doesn't, because even if he never does that again, it's still low character to do that. Really, really low character. I mean, think about it. We're Jet fans. What if you found out a Jet did something during a game to win a bet that went against the Jets? You'd want to hang him, right? And even if you guaranteed he'd never do it again, you'd still think he was a terrible human being, right? Because how do you do that to your team? It's just such a bad thing. Now, as a player, I don't know about you, Matt. I didn't really have him as a top 10 pick. Like I think at best I saw him as a maybe the second rounds, which I hate. I hate that. I hate because to me with quarterback, it's either you believe or you don't. You either wait till day 3 and take a shot, or you believe in a guy and you use your top pick. It's very rare that I feel like, oh, let's use our second round pick on him. Like I'm not a big fan of that. But with that character flaw and what he did, I wouldn't go any higher than maybe a 5th. Even that, I might regret saying, where people say you're crazy. I mean, but I think that like I don't care about 6th and 7th round picks if you're taking a shot at anything. Like that doesn't bother me as much. So sure. I could easily say, why the hell not? Bid a 6th or 7th round pick. But I think some team is going to. All that being said, I think someone is going to put a bid on him that's like a 4th round, I'd say. Maybe one team will do a 4th round. Who knows?
Yeah, it's tough. I agree with a lot of what you just laid out there. I think it is a major, major, major red flag. At the same time, too, you look at it and you go, all right, do guys not deserve a second chance? And guys have gotten second chances in the NFL for doing far worse things than gambling. And that doesn't make it right what he did, obviously. I think, like you said, someone is going to bid on him. I don't know if it's going to be the Jets, although, nationally, it feels like the Jets have been the team that's been talked about the most, which is, understandable, big market. They don't have a long-term answer at the quarterback spot. It really depends, right? Like when you look, if it's a day 3 pick we're talking about, I start to get intrigued by it. But Jeremy Fowler was talking yesterday on ESPN that, he was hearing that it would be a 2nd round pick because teams have a 1st round grade on him in next year's class. Like that is too rich for my blood. That is too big of a gamble for me to take. I don't want any part of losing, because that's how it works. In case, watching, you don't realize in the supplemental draft, you're bidding a pick. And if let's say it is a 2nd round pick, then you would lose a 2nd round pick in the upcoming draft in 2027. I don't want to do that. So I think the conversation for me starts on day 3.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I agree with you 100%. Don't think that he should be banned from ever playing football or anything like that. 100%. Yeah, like deserves a second chance from the perspective of being allowed to work and make a living and be a football player, because yeah, you're allowed to commit, based on everybody else, but just on based in the world. Like people make terrible decisions in the world and they're allowed to rehabilitate from that decision and get to play and make a living and have a life. The question more is, do we want that type of character on our team? Definitely not a second round pick. Way too rich for me. Way too rich for me. No way. Especially in this next draft where there's going to be a lot of talent. That second round pick next year could translate to our center of the future, our left guard of the future, right? Our a safety, a young up and coming safety. There's so much that pick can equate to. There's no way I'm taking a chance on a guy that I'd probably rank the 8th best quarterback in next year's draft if it was right now. There's no way I'm taking him and bidding a second round pick on that, along with what he's done.
Right.
And, and the questions about his character in the most important position. It's quarterback. That's a leadership position where you have to be the model to the rest of the team.
Yeah, and that's a really good point on that too, is when you factor all that in and losing the draft pick that would coincide with it. And what if the Jets are in a situation next year where, let's say they did, in this argument's sake, did bid the second round pick, they get him, they still want to draft a quarterback in the first round next year. And what if you have to trade up? What if you have to trade up for a quarterback? The point was that you had, the 3 first round picks and you have a second round pick. And the reason for that is to acquire your franchise quarterback. I don't want to just completely turn my nose up at the idea of taking a swing on Sorsby, but the price has to make sense. And I don't think a second round pick is a price that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make because he might very well, if he played, would have ended up being a very good chance he would have been a second round pick in the draft next year, or even a third round pick. We've had guys that we've seen guys. We have one on our team that was once projected to be a top 5 pick that went 110th. Right. Yeah. We saw Drew Aller, who was projected to be projected to be a number 1 pick and ended up going 80 something or whatever to Pittsburgh in the 3rd round. Right. So who's to say that he wasn't going to come to Texas Tech and have a couple of some disappointing games and fall out of it and just be a day 3 pick? So it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you use your second round pick on him now? Why wouldn't you just wait to the draft? And like you said, for us, that second round pick could be the piece that gets us to move up and get our guy, because we don't necessarily want to trade our other 2 first round picks to move up and get our guy. If the move up is not that big and point wise, it makes sense to just give our second round pick to move up a little bit.
Yeah. And what really stinks too is I was looking forward to watching him at Texas Tech this year, because I do think there are some traits that make him really intriguing, but he is someone who could have been a riser in this year's draft class, in the 2027 class. I don't know if he would have ever got in front of Arch or anything like that, but point being, I still have questions about his game that aren't going to be answered by the time you are drafting him, even if it is in the supplemental draft. And it's a big gamble, man. It's a risk.
I have 3 quarterbacks that I want right now. It might change during the college season. But to me, right now, the 3 guys I'm the most interested in is Manning, Mensah, and Carr.
Okay.
Those are the 3. Those are my 3 right now, my 3 prospects that I'm the most interested in.
And it's not even a guarantee that Carr comes out next year, too.
Right. It's not a guarantee. And it's not a guarantee that they won't change completely, because they'll come out and they'll pull an Aller or they'll pull a Klubnik and have a horrible year. But right now, based on film and everything, those are the guys that I'm just the warmest on right now, as far as my quarterback prospecting has been going.
Yeah. And very curious to see how that shakes out in season, right? Because a lot can change. Peter S chimes in on the combo, says someone will probably bid a second round pick, but I agree with Jeremy. If he had no off the field issues, then maybe a second would be worth it. I believe not. Fourth or pass. If he didn't have the off the field issues, he wouldn't be in the supplemental draft, right? He'd be in college right now. He'd be playing for Texas Tech.
Right, but let's imagine or pretend a scenario where where he for some reason was in the supplemental draft. Then we'll look at it from that perspective. And also, I'm not even sure I would do a fourth, but I don't think a fourth is crazy. Like, that's the difference. It's like, I wouldn't do a fourth, but I think that I wouldn't look at somebody who said they would do a fourth and judge them in any negative way. I'd say, okay. And if the Jets did it, I would be like, okay, it's a fourth. I could live with it. I maybe I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't be angry about it and say, that's ridiculous. How stupid of us,
What other teams besides the Jets do you think could take a swing on Sorsby in the supplemental? Because someone's going to take him. I think it's a question of what round he ends up going.
It's possible that it's not only a quarterback needy team. I think it would be definitively a team that thinks that they need a quarterback, but they're not going to be in the top 15 or the top 12. So it could be a team that believes they're going to be in the 20s, but needs a quarterback, right? And there's not a lot of those, but there are teams that believe they could win 10 to 12, 11 games and you know what I mean, but still need a quarterback for the future, like Pittsburgh.
Right? I was just going to say Pittsburgh could make sense.
Right. There's a team that might make the playoffs, but they still need a quarterback, right? So they might value it that way. But I also think we should keep our eye on teams that have veteran quarterbacks other than Aaron Rodgers, like even Detroit. Detroit might be thinking maybe we want him to develop him for 2 to 3 years, and then we don't think Goff will be there forever, right? And then you got teams like Houston that might have. We don't know that we're going to need him to be the starter, but we're also starting to have a little bit of doubts about our quarterback. We're having some questions about our quarterback, and is he going to come out and rebound next year, or is he going to come out and completely fall apart? I see the Colts in the chat.
That's a great call.
I think the Colts could be a team, but I personally would think they're being stupid because I think, oh no, they don't have a pick. They don't have a first round pick.
They don't.
They don't have a first round pick, so that's the reason. Yeah, that's a really good point. The Vikings, right? The Vikings might trade McCarthy. We don't even know if they're going to keep McCarthy. It seems like they're giving up on him. What if Kyle Murray comes in and does and is Kyle Murray, right? What if he's just losing and being what Kyle Murray has done, basically depreciate and get worse every year since his rookie year? So there's a bunch of teams out there that might be thinking maybe he's the guy. He could be the guy they're taking a chance on. He could be the guy that they might, or he could be the guy they want to groom and develop to be the next guy.
Yeah, Cleveland is a team that I feel like has gotten brought up a lot. They have so many quarterbacks in that quarterback room: Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. They drafted 2 others this year too, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or Taylon Green, I believe, also. Who else is that? I'm pulling it up. I think there's one more that I'm forgetting. Shedeur, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, Taylon Green. Those are the 4. Arizona, I know they just drafted Carson Beck, but that's a similar spot to the Jets where they have, a non-first round rookie quarterback and a vet bridge in Jacoby Brissett. Miami just paid Malik Willis, but are they confident that he's going to be the long-term guy? I liked your point with Detroit. That wasn't a team that I was considering, but that does make sense with him being a little on the older side. How old is Jared Goff now? 32? Something like that? Let's see.
Something like that. Some guys don't age well.
Yeah, he turned 32 this year, so it's not crazy.
Right. It's not, and I don't expect it. I'm just saying they could. I don't expect it to, but it's not impossible because we've seen quarterbacks really drop off at 33, 34. Normally, it's Aaron Rodgers and some guys, Brady. We had a few stars play later in their career, and that's changing the whole narrative. But it shouldn't, because that's the exception. Traditionally and typically, quarterbacks start to decline at 32, 30. That's why it's so amazing when they're playing at 38, 39, 40 and still being effective, because we were used to And I think diets have changed, conditioning has changed. I get that, but I don't know if Koff is that amazing to begin with. So if he starts to decline at all, they might want to take a shot and just have some guy that shows more potential, some younger talent. I could also see New Orleans. I don't know if they're sold on Shuck as their franchise quarterback or not.
Yeah, I think there was enough intrigue there that I'd want, if I was the Saints, I'd want to see more, but I don't know if he's like we're 100% convinced he's a guy. Some examples of quarterbacks who kind of fell off in their early 30s. I think of Derek Carr and Russell Wilson as two recent ones, right? I think Carr was 32 when he ended up in New Orleans, and Russ was 34 when he ended up in Denver, when things started to go awry there. So, it's not, you're right. Not every quarterback is Matthew Stafford or Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers that can play until they're 40 years old. Sometimes it goes quick, and you want to be prepared for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to toss this one to you because we got to fight about 2027 prospects already early. Jay Dizzle wants to know, why are you in on why Manning? I don't know if he's shown enough.
Well, he hasn't right. I'm just hot on him right now to watch him. I'm very much feels he needs this. If he was coming out right now, I'd be very concerned about, like, I wouldn't be saying top 5 or anything to pick him now this year. I'm just going with the ascension that the path he's been on, though. He's been ascending because he came in and he was very bad his first few games, and we watched him get better every week. In his last 6 or 7 games, he was outstanding. And I mean outstanding. Every throw you can make on the route tree, different speeds, touch on his ball, like amazing instincts of when to run. Great instincts as a when he needed to run and scramble. Got rid of the ball quick. Was good under pressure. Like, he really ascended towards the end of the year. Do I think it's enough that I'd feel comfortable using the number 1 or top 5 pick on him right now in this moment? No. But understand what I'm saying. I don't feel that way about Mensah either, or Carr. I'm saying that they're the guys I'm interested in. I'm going to be watching, that I'm the most excited about to watch play another year in college. And like I said, if Manning does not ascend anymore and struggles against good teams or whatever, and has some really bad games and is no longer ascending, then I might not rank him really that high. And Mensah has to do it in Miami. Like, he really has to have a big year. So no, I don't think he's shown enough. I think he's shown enough for me to be really excited about him in his next year in college, as a guy who might be, that I'm watching to see if he's going to be a guy that we want to take with our first round pick.
Yeah, and I agree with you. As the season went on, I felt like he was getting better, and hopefully for his sake that carries over into this year. To be fair to him, we his coming of age moment, or his first start for Texas really this year, was against Ohio State, that had how many guys drafted on that defense in the first round?
Yeah, it was crazy. He was thrown to the fire, and he's also young. He's very young. But the key thing was the way he rebounded, the way he bounced back. But it's not just like the stats. It's not the box score and then he started throwing for a lot of yards and throwing. It's not about that. It's watching the film. It's watching, is he able to get rid of the ball quickly? How fast can he read the defense and get rid of the ball? Can he go through progressions? Can he make every throw on the route tree? Can he, and all that stuff. There's a lot more beyond the box score. And that's where I get the most excited about watching a player like Arch Manning play. It's the throws that he makes, the types of throws, and how they vary. It's not just they're simply calling the same play over and over again. Like, a lot of quarterbacks build up their stats just throwing to a guy running across the middle because it works in college. But he's actually throwing to receivers who are moving vertically. That's an important thing to me, to see that. I like a guy who could drop the ball into the corner of the end zone or along the sideline with some touch, throw between the safety and the quarterback, find the seam. Like, watch the film for Manning, and and you get really excited.
I think his athleticism gets undersold because people hear the name Manning and they think, I love this freedom face. The F for you watching Arch is bad. Okay.
Someone does not watch film.
But the point that I was going to make is people hear the name Manning and they think his uncles, that they are immobile pocket passing quarterbacks. And that's not what Arch is. He has the athleticism to his game, which I think is exciting. And I'm not writing him in stone as the number one pick, but I do think there's a lot of traits to be excited about with him.
Yeah, he has to put it together for a full year, or I wouldn't take him. Like if he struggles for 5 games and gets better again, then it's going to be, to me, that's a problem. Like, no, you shook it out, you adjusted to the college level, and then you ended the season and you ascended, you got better and better, you progressed and you ended the season strong. For him to stay in my eyes as a top pick, he now has to take over next year and continue that track. Like from game one, he has to be a great college quarterback. Like, and I mean that. Like, I expect for me to want to use a first round pick on you at the NFL level. I want a guy who dominated college, like a guy who from game one to the ends was consistent and great the whole time. Arch Manning hasn't achieved that, but neither has any of the prospects that are going into next year. I'm just saying there are guys we could be excited about that showed that potential. Now we're looking to see the guys who can do that, who can go from week 1 in college to the end and be consistently great and solid the entire season.
I love it. And we're going to have plenty of time to discuss quarterbacks throughout this season, but that's where we're going to leave it for now during minicamp. Thank you guys so much for hanging for another episode. We'll be back next Wednesday at 3:00. But for now, I'm Matt. He's Jeremy. We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.